According to Renault Ireland, 1 in 10 cars on Irish roads will be electric by 2020. So Renault Ireland invited me along to see their electric future, with the workshops to explain the ins and outs of electric vehicle ownership. The Fluence ZE is 21,620 on the road after €5,000 government grant, which undercuts the price of every other electric car out there. It even makes it around the same price as a Fluence diesel. On top of that, there is a lease of the battery at €79 a month. Leasing the battery means that if anything happens to the battery while it's under your ownership, it will cost you nothing to have it replaced. But with all this technology and all this electric stuff, what are the cars actually like to drive? So this is the new Renault Fluence ZE. And this is the passenger car, due out in 2011 here in Ireland. The first one launched here in Ireland is going to be the Renault Kangoo, which will be the first. It'll be a commercial version, but this is the one we're more interested in, being a passenger vehicle. And it is just a Fluence inside. Okay, I'm on the wrong side of the car, but it's still just a Fluence on the inside. The dashboard is ever so slightly different. Instead of a rev counter, you get a sort of a battery meter, what's left, and on the far side I have whether I'm charging or recharging, or how much power is going out. I can tell you right now I'm using 39 kilowatts. And right now, because I'm decelerating, I'm actually recharging at 8 kilowatts. So it's just a standard car, and that's the whole point of the Fluence, is that it's just a standard car that happens to run on electricity. Now I come up to the gates of Carton House, so I'm going to be taking it out onto the road. And it is an automatic. I know that's kind of weird actually, it's not really an automatic. It doesn't have a gearbox at all, not in traditional sense of a gearbox. And when you put your foot down, there is a lot of torque immediately, and you're up to speed. It's nice. There's just a small whistle in the background. It's actually very quiet. There's nothing happening at all. But the point is that it's just an ordinary car. There's no real difference between it and the standard Renault Fluence, other than it's absolutely silent in here apart from some tyre noise. And they must have chosen the tyres very carefully, because even the tyre noise is quiet. And we have air conditioning going. I'm doing 80 kilometers an hour just outside of Carton House. Now it does feel a little, I won't say bouncy on the back, but it feels heavy. It feels like there's passengers or a lot of luggage back there. That's because all the batteries are in the boot, every one of them, and the engine's out in front of me, which looks kind of similar to a normal engine with some electrical cables hanging out instead of normal cables. But everything else is as normal. I have 4 electric windows. I have TomTom sat nav sitting in front of me. I have dual zone climate control, slightly different stereo on this one, and I have an automatic gear lever. Now when you're going downhill or when you press the brakes, it does start a recharge system, which takes the kinetic energy out of the wheels and tyres and brake system to allow you to recharge the batteries, which means we don't actually know what the range properly is from start to finish. We don't know exactly how long it will take to empty your battery. So the estimates is up around 185 kilometers depending on how you drive. That may be more, it might be less. It'll probably be a lot less if you have a lot of people in the car, or you drive like I'm driving now. Turn in is good, plenty of acceleration through each of the corners. So just at 90 kilometers an hour I'm using 9 kilowatts of power. It's like listening to a turbine or a jet thing or something underneath. It's a little whistle that comes on in the background as you accelerate and decelerate. I'm not sure if you can hear that noise out the back outside the car, but I know when you're driving up beside it, you can't hear anything. So there you have it, folks. The new Renault Fluence Electric, which will be in your showroom sometime next year. This year you'll see the Renault Kangoo being released very soon, September they're saying. Later on next year, the ZE will be out, which is not here today to test drive, but it will be available next year to test drive. And then 2012 will bring us the Renault ZE. So 4 cars being released by Renault in the very near future, which is a massive step. Most car manufacturers release 1 car every, say, 5 years. I'm talking about new cars, not revamps. These ones are all new from start. And I told you about a year and a half ago that the original Renault Fluence diesel that I drove was originally designed as an electric vehicle. This is it. There's more information available on the Renault ZE range at www.renault.ie.